Welcome back to Zenless Zone Zero. We have tall office woman, anime Virgil. I swear I'm straight.
The snacks are real nice.
The only thing that he is known for is that he is free. Mommy, sorry.
Welcome to Tampa, land of money, honey, and where it's always sunny.
First two sound good.
And Seth. Since the last time that I've talked about Zenless versus LeBron James, a lot has happened. There are now 9 new characters in the game, and LeBron James is now 40 years old. That doesn't really change much though, since he is still debatably a top 10 player in the league. It's hard to say otherwise, since he's still dominant in the paint and scored 38 against the Blazers despite being the oldest player in the league. So that begs the question, can any of these new characters beat LeBron in a one-on-one game of basketball? Ground rules are the same. Current day LeBron and first to 11 points. Scoring will be in 1s and 2s with no free throws. We will be using the NBA rule set, and obviously murdering LeBron is not an accepted strategy. All characters will have sufficient training before the game begins, and as such they will be in their peak physical prime. And with that out of the way, let's get started. To begin, we will firstly get the obvious out of the way. Ching-Yi may have good senses and could pose a threat to LeBron, but she is still way too undersized to guard the king. She's only 4'8", which is shorter than even Kaleda. Keep in mind that if this 1v1 were to happen, LeBron James would be a whole 2 feet taller than her. And I don't know if you played basketball, but defending a demon that is also taller than you is probably the most physically taxing thing to do. This isn't me brushing off her physical abilities though. Ching-Yi shows a lot of speed and possesses a high vertical, but offense isn't the issue. Scoring is fine, but one singular mistake and she won't score again. LeBron James is an extremely versatile player. He may be listed at small forward, but he regularly plays point guard and even center for the Lakers. This means that no matter who you throw up against him, King James can still hold his own. Now keep that in mind as we read more into his stats. Of the last 10 Lakers games, LeBron James has shot 51% from the field and his 3-point percentage sits at 42%. He also averages a steal and a block per game. And I'm sure that this is enough evidence to explain why Ching-Yi would get absolutely demolished. LeBron James victory 11-2. Now the thing with these newer characters is that I do believe that a lot of them have a pretty good chance of defeating LeBron. Most Zenless characters are either too short or just can't space the floor enough to make work on LeBron. However, all these newer characters have pretty outstanding feats. My only exception would be Bernice White. Despite her being able to wield 2 flamethrowers at once with perfect form, I don't believe that she can beat a 40-year-old LeBron. Not only do I see her losing the ball every possession, but I also see her getting dunked on by the GOAT. She's listed at 5'3", which is the same height as Muggsy Bogues. The only difference between him and her is that Muggsy Bogues was really good and Bernice would be Killian Hayes. LeBron sweeps this matchup, no question. And let's quickly wrap up the rest of the Sons of Caledon before we move on. The remaining characters are Lighter and Caesar. Both of them are pretty capable, but being strong doesn't necessarily mean being good at basketball. For example, the Overlord is an absolute dog, but she's still only 5'9". Not only this, but she also doesn't possess any range whatsoever. If you're planning on backing down LeBron and beating him inside, you might as well just lie flat on the ground and take the L. The moment you miss the ball, he's going to run that same exact play against you except actually score. And if this were really to be a one-on-one game, then LeBron would just win by math. Again, he's 42% from 3 in his last 10 games, and he has the range to shoot it from way outside. If all Caesar can do is score up close against the basket, then LeBron could just settle for shooting easy 3-pointers. Don't get me wrong though, since I do think that she could score quite a few buckets on the king. Caesar is extremely tough, and I would be stupid to think that she would back down from trying to score on him. Hell, I feel like she'd go even harder just from the fact that she's going up against the greatest player of all time. But it still doesn't matter because LeBron wins by 5. Moving on to Lighter, and this is where being naturally gifted comes into play. Being 6'1", I see Lighter as a Derek White or Drew Holiday type of prospect. I could even say a peak Bronny James if I'm being completely honest. What I'm trying to say here is that Lighter would struggle on offense but be locked down on defense. He's a brawler, so being physical is nothing to him. We can also assume that he's went toe-to-toe against a few 6'9" people in his lifetime, so he should already know how to work around big people. I do see him being able to steal the ball from LeBron quite a lot. His hands are extremely fast, so one wrong move from LeBron and Lighter is capitalizing on it. The difference between him and Caesar is that although Caesar has the same abilities and hustle as Lighter, there's just way more that weighs on the dude's side. For one, Caesar could apply clamps, but I don't necessarily see her stealing the ball. And height is a very big thing in basketball. Even that 4-inch difference between these characters is all that's needed to beat LeBron James. And yes, I said beat, since Lighter would take home the victory 11-9. LeBron still overpowers him in terms of height, but Lighter's defense would make all the difference. And speaking of defense, we have Seth Lowell. who would lose 11-5. He's the same height as Caesar and has some good defense, but it's not enough. Try being 5'9" attempting to block a literal freight train running to dunk on you. It does not work at all. I do see Seth being able to score since he would definitely have heart in his game, but again, it's just not enough to take down the GOAT. Scooting on over, we now have Jane Doe. Similarly to a lot of these newer characters, her main attribute is speed, but I do see her also having quite a few deception skills and some steals up her bag. Standing at 5'7", LeBron James could easily dominate her from his sheer size, but one thing he can't beat is slipperiness. Jane Doe could easily slip through the cracks in LeBron's defense and could score open buckets before he can react. A lot of these fast characters have speed and nothing else to their game. You have to either be really good at shooting or crafty around the rim if you want to score against someone taller than you. While I don't see Jane as a shooter, I do see her being automatic from point blank range. And in terms of defense, don't sleep on her ability to steal, since if LeBron tries to get past her, he might as well just end his possession right then and there. The King's only options against her are to either chuck up shots or post up on her. But either way, basketball is a game of runs, and I feel like Jane Doe would just have more than the GOAT. For this reason, Jane Doe wins 11-10. And we are now down to the last 3 characters, all from section 6. To start, we have Asaba Harumasa. Now, the difference between everyone so far and Harumasa is that he can actually shoot. Like, literally shoot. If you're going to be undersized and fast, then you have to be either the quickest human alive or be able to space the floor. If you are a Lakers fan like me, you would know that LeBron James is not necessarily a perimeter defender. He's good at it, sure, but he still ends up getting blown by a lot, which is also the reason why the Lakers defense is so dookie water. As well, he extremely often gives the enemy way too much space to shoot, and it always ends with him getting a 3-pointer splash in his mouth. So if we apply that same perimeter defense logic, then Harumasa should be able to make light work of this game. He's not only a shooter, but can definitely also drive effectively. And don't even argue against his shooting, since it's harder to aim a bow than a basketball. Of course, LeBron isn't going to be helpless on defense though. He will still be able to block a majority of Harumasa's shots and even sink a few of his own. But if this was really a numbers game we're going by, then LeBron would win in a close game, 11-8. Harumasa may be an offensive maestro, but he can't do anything on defense. He definitely wouldn't be physical enough to keep up with a driving LeBron, and he most certainly could not contest a 3-pointer. Moving on, we have Tsukishiro Yanagi, and Yanagi is a student of the game. Give her a highlight reel of LeBron James and she would have all of his moves memorized. LeBron can score from everywhere, but he usually does the same things each time. For example, he has a slow 3-pointer, so it's pretty easy to tell when he's gonna chalk something up. His go-to dunk is a right-hand driving dunk, so you can easily take the charge or strip the ball from him before he gets up. And don't sleep on Yanagi's physical potential. She has good speed, strength, and high vertical, and most importantly, a strong mind. Yanagi would win against LeBron by 4 points. She would still be held back by her height at 5'7", but everything else goes in her favor. While not being able to space the floor, I do believe that she would be able to use the basic fundamentals in order to score every possession against LeBron. And finally, we have Hoshimi Miyabi. Call me crazy for this one, but she beats LeBron by 7. The wiki lists her at 5'7" with the ears, so we'll assume that she is 5'4" without them. But it still does not matter. Just look at the cutscenes and character demos. She would be running at the speed of Prime Westbrook and Derrick Rose combined, and she's doing this while swinging a blade around, which is not an easy task to do. Basically, everything physical related would be in Miyabi's favor, and I think she could guard LeBron with ease. As per usual, the King would score inside and out, but I don't see him getting any stocks against Miyabi. Her finesse around the rim would be second to none, and LeBron would not be able to keep up with her at all. And don't even try to say otherwise, because she did all of this in heels. So we've officially concluded that only 4 of the new characters could beat a 40-year-old LeBron James. But before I end the video, I want to revisit a few of the characters from before, most notably Anvi Damara. Alright, listen up my brothers, because she could not beat LeBron Raymond James. While it's true that she is physically able, she could not beat a 6'9" demon backing her down. Her speed is cool and her reaction time is extremely fast, but she can only hit from up close, whereas LeBron could space the floor. But if that's the case, why could Jane Doe and Miyabi beat her, you may be asking? They both also primarily score from the inside and rely on their speed. I would be dumb to say that Anvi isn't the same speed as someone like Jane Doe, so why couldn't she win? Well, that's because Anvi cannot defend LeBron. With Miyabi and Jane, they can steal the ball from the King, whereas Anvi won't be able to close out on the steal. She's also the shortest of the bunch, standing only at 5'1". As much as I want to say that Anvi could beat him, she just could not do it. It's also the same reason why Nekomata would lose. They could score all they want, but when LeBron gets the ball and starts shooting from downtown, it's over for them. And the last one is Rina. It's not that I'm changing my opinion about her losing, it's just that people are really stupid. You can tell from these comments that some of these people don't actually play basketball or even watch the sport. My friends, floating with a basketball does not work. For one, it would be carrying, traveling, and basically every singular dribbling violation in the rulebook. And even if she did dribble the ball, she can't just fly up to the basket. It also doesn't even take that much effort to think of how she flies. She does not naturally fly. If you take a quick Google search, you will find out that she flies through electromagnetism. In an actual game, this would not even be legal attire, and she would just be another regular player. For this reason, LeBron James would beat her easily. But other than that, I really don't have anything much else to say. LeBron James is a dominant player, but sometimes anime characters just tend to be more dominant. Of course, this video is extremely hypothetical, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm speaking nothing but facts. It's not my problem if your favorite character can't beat a 40-year-old. But as always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And until next time.